Hi, everybody. It's the 3rd of May 24, and I'm talking about the English councils. Also, with my mic, I've got it facing away from me. I've got the Omni mic in front of me just to see. And yeah, just a few things. To me, I've not really looked at the English council elections. I think about a third of England voted yesterday. It's a weird way to do it. And a few mayoral elections, including London Mayor and police constables. They do that sort of vote down there. I don't know if that's any good or not. For what I've seen, it's not really good. Maybe it's because the people don't take an interest, really. They get about elected in 10% of the electorate and that. And nobody knows what's happening. But anyway, just from what I've seen so far in Blackburn and Oldham, where independents, quote, independents, have been winning a lot of seats. And I think this is turning out to be to do with Gaza and to do with the demographics of the actual wards. I mean, one of the wards is 85% of people who maybe vote in a block. And I think it's a sign of things to come, especially in the concentrated areas. We already have it in London with Aspire, who I think their voters are very affectionate towards Bangladesh, I think. And I think these concentrated areas is something that the media don't tell us, and that as well. Basically, it's relative after relative, village after village, all from the same regions of different countries, the countries that they've come from. So they're all coming from the same region, same villages, and they're, well, we don't know if they're voting on block, but it doesn't look like it the way they've voted. I would imagine. I think religion is very important to them. If their local religious leader told them to vote a certain way, maybe they would. But maybe they would anyway. But if the religious leader voted, it seems to be the opposite of what Labour suggest will happen for the future. I'm guessing Labour feel that we're going to become atheist and just logical on mythology stuff and that. But it's not looking, and that's what Labour have told us, sort of. There'll be equality in that. But I don't know about women's rights and LGBTQ plus, etc. Yeah, so just looking at the results I've seen so far, Blackburn, well, it used to be like, say, I don't know, say, well, now it's got Labour 29 councillors, Independents 13, and I think they're all a block, all who possibly look the same and feel very strongly about Gaza. Some might argue in terms of ego rather than actual reality. Because I know that 1.5 million Afghans, refugees or whatever, Pakistan moved them out of Afghanistan recently, but there doesn't seem to be anybody bothered in Britain. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe some politicians have tweeted about it. I don't know, but I've not seen anything, no protest or anything. So the Independents get 13 and the Tories get 9. So Tories is probably, I think that's where that guy Tiger was a Tory councillor as well. Whether if he get elected again, with him and his wife, who was, yeah. So the Independents looks like. And the thing is that Labour could say that, oh well, it's a one-off because they're upset about the poor Gazans or what. They wouldn't say anything like it's to do with ego, anything like that. They don't really. I mean, if did they want the Gazans to fight to the death or to get Gaza and the West Bank, if they had to choose between that, what would they want for that? What would they want them to do? But anyway, just getting a thing. Yeah, Oldham's went the sort of same, it seems, and it's good to see Martin Dobney's mentioning this in GB News. Thank goodness for GB News to show these things, because the media don't show these things enough. I find because for council elections, I think a lot of times now you need to check the demographics, and I found a really good website, citypopulation.de, and it's ironic that it's a German website that I found where you can get data about these wards really easily. Because I've been looking at this for like 5 years, and it was really difficult to find demographics of if you're relying on Britain Elects or anything like that. It was just a total nightmare. But with this citypopulation.de, I can look up any ward and I can look up demographics, where they were born, and it's at the moment in England it's a 2021 census, and for Scotland it's a 21 estimate, I think, because we done our census a year later because of COVID, and I don't think it's out yet. I think the prediction is a young man at the SNP special conference last July said that he reckoned that newcomers now make up about 8% of the Scottish population. I would guess that's 10% now, really, because that was a year ago. We've just went through a record-breaking year, 2 record-breaking years after Boris Johnson. But anyway, yeah, because Labour's attitude is they've been the party of benefits, and for another issue that might appeal to newcomers, and also their MPs are there to call people the R-word, especially natives. So for those 3 reasons, Labour have been the party. But I'm wondering if this is now the split, which maybe people anxious thought might happen, just predicting human nature, because a lot of times you're not allowed to predict human psychology on this subject, apart from saying it's going to be great. It doesn't matter if you say it's going to be great, whereas if others might think we're heading for anarchy, they're not going to get arrested for saying it's going to be great. So this is what the situation is, really. Whereas for other people, I would say if you could judge a country by its a women's rights index, whereas in that, if the Greens wanted to produce a women's rights index, they could put the LG pluses, get all the alphabet stuff. They could put that as an index as well if they wanted, but just using women's rights anyway. Recently, the trend now towards the West is from the countries that are probably lost for women's rights. That's how it's went. Beautiful, warm countries where their politicians and everyone are alike. But for some reason, they're only picking 10 or 20 countries that they're going to live in, and they've ruled out other continents. You could say that it looks a bit like they're being, I don't know, the R word. You could say the way they're choosing their countries that they want to live in. And of course, once they're there, they seem to like places like America, Canada, New Zealand, that all have one thing in common. Australia. Forgetting Australia was created to put native prisoners from Britain that's got terminal cancer, basically. It's on stage 2, basically. That's city population.